What's going on, everybody out there? This is the From a Fan's Perspective podcast, episode 1. This is our first podcast, or our first episode on our podcast. But we've done this before, but not with video. So this is our first time doing it with video, so we hope you guys like it. This is From a Fan's Perspective podcast. This is an MMA podcast where we talk about everything in MMA news and everything UFC from a fan's perspective. I'm your boy JB, aka Moody Jean, if you listen to my rap music. And I'm here with my co-host.
Your boy Mr. What's good?
And today we got a few things that we want to talk about. There's no fights this weekend, so we're not going to do up and coming fights. But there's a lot of things going on in MMA news. And today we'll start with, let's start with the Dustin Poirier calling out Nate Diaz. That was in I've seen that in this news.
To me, that was never like a real like must see fight. I think it's always interesting if you got Nate on a card, obviously because he's Nate. But as far as Dustin calling him out, I just think that's a cash grab. I think Dustin should be fighting Charles for the title next. So.
Yeah, I thought it was it Dustin Poirier that called Nate out?
Yeah. He just put up a little tweet that said Nathan and with question marks, and then Nate was like, "Don't bet, but don't be scared this time."
Yeah, I don't know why Dustin isn't focused on the belt. I mean,
right, and Nate's supposed to be staying at 170, so Dustin would have to go up to fight him anyway. So
yeah, that doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. So, but maybe, I mean, the money's good. Right. I think the money would be better. If he wins the belt and then fights him, I think the money would be even better.
Yeah, and Dustin is becoming a draw himself, too. I mean, that could be just to make himself, like, a bigger name and then fight for the title. Who knows? Steal some fans real quick.
Who do you think wins that fight and why?
Poirier easily. I'm not a fan of Nate. You already know that. You already know.
Why did I even ask that question?
I'm just not a fan of Nate. He sucks.
I think that's an interesting fight for me. I'm a Nate fan. I'm not the biggest Nate fan in the world, but I'm not biased towards his abilities outside the cage. Of course, Poirier is known for his jiu-jitsu. Nate's known for his jiu-jitsu defense inside the cage. Really good at jiu-jitsu, but he's known for the way he defends.
He's known for not fighting until he gets blood on him.
And I think he gets blood on him pretty quick in that fight.
For real. No,
so that's what I said.
Dustin is more known for his boxing, but I think his jiu-jitsu is a little bit underrated.
I think that's a tough fight for Dustin, man.
I don't.
Where does he win the fight?
On the feet.
You think boxing. He's a better strike? You think he's a better boxer than Nate?
Yeah,
he's not a better boxer.
I do think
we're not gonna do that. He's not a better boxer.
Leon outboxed Nate. Is Leon a better boxer than Nate?
Leon isn't a. He might not be a better boxer. He might not have more boxing knowledge, but he's a better. He has better abilities than Nate, if that makes sense.
He's a better boxer, bro. Like you gotta. And
I think Leon. I think Leon outboxes Dustin too.
I don't.
I think he outboxes Dustin. Like I said, the more we talk about it, now that I'm thinking about it, that's an interesting fight.
It's not to me.
We've never seen Poirier at 170. Or would he come down so Nate would come down to 155?
No, Poirier would go up. But the thing is, you've never seen Nate at 170 really either. He's fought mostly guys that are 155ers that went up, and he's a small 170 himself. So it's not like he has a bunch of size on Dustin or he just has a way better feel for that weight class. No, it's just and Dustin trains consistently with 170 pounders. So to me, that's not.
I'd like to see. I think I agree with you. I think Dustin wins the fight. I don't think it's an easy fight for him.
And Dustin trains with Masvidal, and Masvidal fought Nate. So they could possibly even come up with a really good game plan and just completely shut Nate out.
I mean, I don't think Masvidal had a great game plan. He just stuck to. I mean, it wasn't really no game plan.
Yeah, no,
it's hurt him quick and keep hurting him.
Exactly. Yeah.
You gotta take Nate's confidence away, which is very hard to do, but that's what you gotta do. And I think Masvidal did a really good job of that. He took Nate's confidence away pretty quick.
Yeah.
You know. No, I would like to see it. I think it's a better fight. I think Poirier fighting Nate would be a better fight than Poirier fighting Conor.
Yeah, I definitely think that Poirier and Conor was, it was completely one-sided, both the last two fights, and I think Nate does a lot better than Conor did in those fights because he's a little more durable. Conor's like, if you start piecing him up and getting the better of him, he kind of quits, and Nate won't. So I think that's where that'll be the difference, the whole difference maker. But I do see it playing out similar just because I think Dustin controls every position in that fight.
Okay. Well, moving on. We'll stay at 170 and let's talk a little bit about Kevin Lee. He's got a fight against Daniel Rodriguez. He was originally supposed to fight what's the guy's name?
Yeah, what is
name?
Sean Brady.
Yeah, Sean Brady.
Sean Brady.
He was originally supposed to fight Sean Brady. Due to some injuries and stuff, they had to reschedule it, and I guess the fight just fell through.
Yeah. They first it was Kevin Lee that pulled out with the injury, and now this time it's Sean Brady. But now we got a replacement.
So, and I think that's going to be a good fight. But before we get to that fight, Kevin Lee is on record calling out Mike Perry not once, but twice.
Might even be more than that. But
well,
yeah,
I think
he's just being a bully. Man.
Yeah.
He's just being a bully.
How do you feel about guys calling guys out, and if guys don't want to fight, do you think that that's kind of like they should keep trying to push, or like should you just move on? Like, what does that look like for the guy that's not trying to fight? Because I don't think Mike Perry's not taking the fight because he doesn't think he can beat Kevin
Mike Perry
Lee.
made a statement saying that that he's been training to tame some of the things that he has going on in his personal life, and that he's gonna be a whole new different animal when he comes back, but the same beast, whatever that means. So
that is what?
He said, "I'm gonna be a different animal, but the same beast."
So you're gonna be the same animal? Well, well,
hey, man,
are there different type of? Well, I guess there are different type of.
Sentence I've ever heard. In my
life. Are there different type of? So beast is like a category of species.
I don't know, man. Ask Mike Perry. He has his own language.
Salute to Mike Perry, man.
Right.
I like Mike Perry.
Yeah, the Nigerian nightmare.
But yeah, I don't think Mike's scared. Like you said, he just knows that the time isn't right for him right now.
Yeah, I think it's good for him to take a more calculated approach with this thing, because he also said if he fought every fighter that called him out, he would be fighting every weekend, which is true because everybody wants to fight with Mike Perry.
Right.
But I think it's smart for him to take a more calculated approach because he's not a bad fighter. Don't get me wrong. He's not at the moment. He's not at the level where he can just take any fight and win. He needs to pick them and then get some more experience.
And let's be honest, Kevin Lee moving up from 155, taking his first fight, he was trying to use that as a warm-up fight.
Yeah, he wanted
that as a warm-up fight.
He definitely wants to
tune up. So, but with Rodriguez, I don't look at that as a tune-up fight. I think that's going to be a really scrappy fight. Rodriguez is really good on his feet. Kevin Lee is really good on his feet.
Yeah.
He also can mix in the wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I like Rodriguez. He's tough. He's only been in the UFC a couple years. He's only been fighting since he was like 25, 26 or something.
Yeah,
like that.
And he's actually really good. But
so
I haven't seen too much of his wrestling. And the times I did, he did get taken down. And it's a difference between getting taken down and getting held down. With Kevin Lee, he's real good at holding people down, but he has to actually go for the takedown. He has to actually try to wrestle in order to be able to do that. And wrestlers always fall in love with their hands once they get to the UFC. So we'll see how that works out, man.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great fight on the feet. Yeah. And then if Kevin Lee is able to take him down, we'll just see levels. I believe a different aspect of the game. But like you said, it's Kevin Lee's first fight at 170. It's a big difference between 155 and 170. Yeah, he's a big dude.
He's a big 170.
If he starts stuffing those takedowns, man, and it stays on the feet, that's going to be a really good fight. I'm looking forward to that fight, honestly.
I'm actually looking forward to that one, too.
No bullshit.
The Sean Brady one, I thought Kevin Lee was going to get completely
dismantled. Oh, man.
But this one's a better one for him.
I don't think there's not a lot of people that want to fight Sean Brady right now.
And Kevin Lee's one of them.
Now he's a beast.
Kevin Lee's one of the dudes that don't want to fight Sean Brady.
Yeah, I don't know. But let's jump back a little bit. I want to talk a little bit about the Lewis Cyril Gane fight that was last week.
Yep.
And we didn't do a podcast about that because we're having technical issues. But we seen after the fight, there was a lot of questions that got answered, I believe, about Cyril Gane and is he the real deal, and is it too soon, and no, he's the real deal, and I think that him fighting Francis will be one of the best fights of the year. Hopefully they fight.
Possibly.
Yeah, hopefully they fight before the end of the year, because Cyril Gane didn't take any damage. So
yeah, Cyril said it'll be ready by December. Yeah. So we just got to see what Francis is talking about. And I think that's part of the reason that they made an interim title anyways, just because Francis was trying to pick his dates instead of just going off of what they had. UFC can't. They have to plan around this whole COVID situation with the venues and the amount of cards that they want to have and where they want to place certain people. So with Francis saying, okay, I'm going to be ready at this time, and there's possibly already a card and a main event scheduled for that date, is kind of the reason that Dana's looking at him like, oh, he doesn't want to fight. And Dana says that about like everybody who turns down a fight. But that could be part of the reason that they made that interim title, just to make sure like, okay, well, this is the date. You either take it or that's it. You're gone. You know. So. Yeah,
that's in the history. Like they were training partners, or at least spar. They were sparring together. Yeah, we do have footage of them actually sparring, so they did spar together. That I'm looking forward to that fight.
Yeah,
I'm actually pretty excited.
That intrigues me too.
And even more than that, what if Cyril Gane beats Francis, then John Jones has to fight Cyril Gane,
which is in my opinion, is a better matchup for him than Francis, because Francis has way more power, and Cyril can kind of game plan around without having to worry about that big punch.
Right.
So,
but how does Gane deal with John's wrestling?
But before that, how does Francis deal with Gane?
So how does Francis deal with Gane? I think I'm going with Gane here. I've been on the train. I've been on the train. I'm saying and I got him just like I have in every other fight, but he surprised me with the Lewis fight. I got him by decision. I think he'll win by decision. I think it'll be kind of like Francis Stipe, but he won't get hit as much as Stipe did. Francis Stipe won. I don't think he'll get hit as much. I think Francis will stay in there. His cardio's gotten a lot better. Francis' experience, and he's not just a one-punch guy like Derek Lewis is. He still has that same knockout power, but Francis puts combinations together. He's in there to fight from the first round. Yeah. And I think Cyril Gane will keep the distance. I think he'll avoid a lot of that power. He'll make it hard for him to get hit. Keep his jab up, kicks, and he's too quick. I believe that he's too quick. He's just too good. He's literally, in my opinion, Israel Adesanya at heavyweight. That's
pretty much what he is. I think Gane wins this too, and for those same reasons. But also, if you look at it, Francis right now he's on this train where he's just traveling everywhere. He's doing interviews. He's doing this. He's doing that. Francis has been back home to where is he from? Africa, whatever part of Africa. Cameroon. Yeah, he's been to Cameroon like 5 times in the last few months since he won the belt.
Right.
And all of that is taken away from training. He's not training in Cameroon. We know that. He's out there cooking from his mom. And I'm not saying anything's wrong.
Sandbags out there.
It could be, but I'm not saying anything's wrong with him traveling to go see his family and whatnot, but you have to limit it. When you're the champion, you got to keep doing what got you to the dance. You can't start going and traveling and doing too many interviews and putting everything in the public you gotta actually train and put in the work and possibly even more now that you're the champion. And he hasn't been doing that. So I think that all of this is going to be a lot of pressure on him, and Gane is going to take over and school him.
Yeah, I like Gane a lot. And one thing you can't train is experience. And in my opinion, Gane has that way more than Francis, and I think it's going to show in the fight. I think he's just a step ahead of these guys right now. So I got Gane beating Francis, and then, I don't want to jump too far ahead, but if John Jones end up fighting Gane or even Francis, we'll talk about that a little bit. I already got opinions about that, but like I said, I want to see more, and then we'll be able to get more, of an idea about those type of fights. But instead of, so we're thinking about future fights. Let's jump to the past a little bit. Trying to get these transitions down. And Anderson Silva, Tito Ortiz.
All right. Well,
does it feel like we're in 2006 yet?
Yeah, man, for real. It's crazy because
I need my affliction shirt.
get that tap out beat on. But I feel like
in boxing, right?
In boxing.
Okay.
It's on the main event is Vitor Belfort versus Oscar De La Hoya. And then the co-main is Anderson Silva versus Tito Ortiz. And in the main event, obviously De La Hoya, come on, like
I wouldn't be so certain about that.
I don't think Vitor's.
When's the last time you think De La Hoya has actually put on a pair of boxing gloves?
I don't know, but when's the last time Vitor put on a pair of boxing gloves?
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean, you're right though. I can't be so certain just because.
And I'm not trying.
It might have been a while.
Yeah, I'm not trying not. I know De La Hoya is a great boxer and was like former champion, like literally fighter of the decade in the 90s, I believe.
Yep.
So, I'm not trying to take no credit from De La Hoya, but
right.
Who knows,
yeah. I mean, it's not as sure as said, but I think that De La Hoya wins that one. And then in the co-main, I think Anderson's levels above Tito in boxing.
Oh yeah,
strictly boxing.
That's gonna be a massacre.
Yeah, I don't think Tito's got it.
Silva looks good.
Yeah, he looked good in that last fight.
Boxing, man.
He looked good in that last fight, and against a younger guy too. So,
if roles was reversed, and Silva never did MMA and he only did boxing, where do you think he's at in his career right now? Is he still? Do you think in boxing? No, but I'm saying as far as accolades in MMA, in the UFC, we all know Anderson Silva as a lot of people consider him greatest of all time.
Isn't Anderson Silva 0-1 in box or 1-1 now in boxing? His first fight he lost, right? If I'm not mistaken, he lost. So
yeah, I don't know who he.
So if that is the case, I'm not saying this for sure, but if that is the case, then Anderson Silva's a bum in boxing now,
but he never fully
trained. Everybody who loses one time in boxing is a bum.
Yeah.
So you got to be undefeated and have 3 belts to be good in boxing.
He never fully trained as a boxer though.
That's true.
In his defense, the guy he was fighting, I guarantee, never stepped in a cage. Like Anderson, and when you train striking with MMA gloves, it's way different than boxing gloves.
Yeah,
it's a whole different fight.
Completely different.
So it's a whole different fight. So, I'm just speaking in terms of, take the records away, I'm speaking in terms of his abilities and potential when we first seen him. If he never stepped foot in the UFC, do you think, because he would have fought at middleweight, around like 167, I think. So
he's bigger than that. He was where was Roy at?
167.
He was 167.
Yeah. That's the only reason I said it.
Silva's bigger than
to be like a super middle, like 175. He wouldn't fight at 185.
No. He went down for this fight.
But I'm talking about in his prime. He wasn't a guy walking around at like 2. He was
right.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Maybe he could have fought at at a 180. But even then, like, how do you think he would have done in just strictly boxing? Do you think he'd still be Anderson Silva, or do you think he would have just been another guy?
No, I think he would have just been another guy. He's not built like a boxer. He doesn't have that body type. He doesn't have and I'm not saying that you have to have all these certain attributes, but as far as like that era,
Right.
The certain guys that were dominating that era weren't built like him, and they weren't using the styles that and the way of fighting that he does. So I don't think he would have really done that well back then.
Okay. Well, we're very glad that he did choose MMA.
Yeah.
UFC.
Yeah. And part of his MMA game was his kicks. I mean, a lot of it was kicks. And,
a lot of Muay Thai.
Yeah, and kicks, elbows. So I think that's what really made him Anderson Silva.
Okay. Well, let's talk about something real. Let's get off of this stuff and let's talk about something real. Why can't men have more than one girlfriend?
Man.
Oh, getting quiet.
They can if they want.
Somebody's watching.
But look, see, if you want to be traditional, then that's up to you. But if not, then, I mean, you're just going to get called different names and be looked at a certain way. And that's fine. I mean, if you fine with that, then it's whatever.
There you go, people. But that's all we got for you guys today. This is from a fan's perspective, where you get everything, MMA news, UFC, and certain topics that we'll be talking about more in the future. I got my own opinion on that, but I'll let them rock today. But like I said, strictly from a fan's perspective, we're not experts. We're not looking to be experts or think we know everything in the game. We know we don't, but we know a little bit about a little bit, you know. So stay tuned. We'll have more for you guys. It's just episode 1, and we appreciate. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and check us out for more. We out.